income, free money. How is this going to impact landlords or investors who own rental properties? If this is your first time to my channel, this is going to be a nice short video that I do on my phone. I will answer all of the comments after the video. If you want your questions answered during a live stream, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, I do a live stream that basically lasts as long as the questions do. I own 18 rental units. I live in one, 17 are rented out. How is universal basic income going to impact somebody like me or you if you're buying rental properties? With AI becoming more and more popular, this topic is going to be thrown around, I think, more and more. And it's more likely to be at least tested on a bigger scale, right? There have been smaller countries and some states that have tested out universal basic income. And I invest in Washington, where there is no R, but there are a lot of Democrats. And so I actually think it's possible that in the next few years, there could be a version of UBI tested out here. So I've kind of game theoried this, and I want to go through the good, the bad, and the warning, and try to be as impartial as possible. Because to me, it's really important as an investor to not care who's in office. Yes, I vote, but I need to have a plan for whoever gets in office. Because while our vote contributes to the decision, it could go either way, and often does. So the initial impact of universal basic income, basically think of like going to Costco. Everybody can get free samples, right? Who does that impact the most, right? If the homeless person has a Costco membership and they can walk in and get free samples, they're going to eat that day. If the multimillionaire with rental properties goes to Costco because I was stupid that day and got around a bunch of people, am I really impacted by free food? The money works basically the same way. It's on a sliding scale. Now, when we had the free stimulus money that came out, free, very interesting word, in the 2020 and 2021 craziness, there was actually a limit. If you made over a certain amount, you didn't get the money. But those people generally got EIDL loans, more grants, and benefited from people having more money to spend, which is basically the idea with UBI. So who knows if it's going to be above a certain income, you don't get it, or everybody gets $1,000, and we'll just pick a nice round number. It could be $7, but it's probably going to be $1,000. That resonates with the most people. And if you make $2,000 a month, that's your income, $1,000 a month is huge. So I hope it happens for people like that more than people like me. I make about $21,000 a month in profit. And that's after taxes, after mortgages, after setting aside for future expenses. So will I notice $1,000? It's basically a 5% increase to my income versus a 50% increase to the person making $2,000 a month. So I would be okay with somebody like me not getting it if you make more money. It'll probably go to everybody, unilateral. So that's the first aspect of universal basic income, is how much you make could change the impact of what the income does for you. But what does it do to actual landlords? Initially, my tenants, the people who I have relationships with for years as they rent my properties, will have more disposable income. There's going to be more demand for my rentals because other people who have been renting smaller places will have more money and would want to rent my places. So rents will push up for landlords with rentals initially. There is a stabilizing element to people having more money. There will never be a time where there are no evictions and no late rent payments. Like, that's not going to happen. But the number of evictions and the number of late rent payments will go down when your tenants have more money. So I will have a slightly stabilizing effect to those elements of owning rental properties. There could be a negative to the stabilizing too, that I think is good sometimes in moderation. But I talked about people who are renting smaller places wanting to move up to my rentals because they now have more money. That could happen to my tenants too. I could have a young family in a 2-bedroom using bunk beds that decide to have another $1,000 a month. Why not go rent a 3-bedroom? And I don't have one available, so I could have tenant turnover. So it's negative because I don't like work. I'm the lazy investor. I reached financial freedom specifically targeting properties to help limit tenant turnover, and I have strategies to keep my turnover low. But UBI could make it happen more often. So the negative impact is more work. The positive impact is the biggest rent increase we get as landlords, whether you have rent control or not in your area, is from tenant turnover. You do a spiffy little shine job on your rental, and now you're getting market rents or maybe even pushing them up even more. So negative because of work, lazy, but I like money. So the impact now to me, let's say every adult gets $1,000 a month. Mark, hookers are below. Is that what you just said? Yes, Mark. Exactly. You know me too well. So everybody gets $1,000 a month. I got a 5% increase to my income. My tenants possibly got a 50% increase to their income. When my rents can go up 15% to the gross, my net is probably going to increase 50%. So I'll go from 21,000 a month in profit to probably 30 a month in profit. And then they'll add that little, see, now it looks like a small $1,000 increase to my income. So I will make more money. This is why wealthy people vote left. More free money for more people means a lot more money for the people with assets. I get it. Let's take it to the next step, because this is not a one and done thing. This is chronologically something they want to continue doing. The initial impact is rents push up. Not everybody will raise their rents. There will be people like my brother David, who finally used the binder strategy to get his tenants to raise the rent after decades of owning rentals. He had tenants who had the same rent from 2006 to 2025. But what's going to happen when universal basic income comes? Everybody gets that extra $1,000. Where does it come from? This is where the right comes into the conversation. Nothing is free. Like when stimulus happened, national debt goes up. Tax brackets want to increase. They want to end the tax stimulus bill from 2017. So taxes could go up. That impacts my property taxes. So that $30,000 a month that I'm making could be diminished. Almost a net. The taxes that my handymen have to pay, the taxes I have to pay on the materials that I buy to maintain my properties could increase. So my expenses across the board could go up. Like the tenants, they got the stimulus money and then their rent went up. I'm the landlord, the tenants get the stimulus money, I get the increased rent, I get the increased expenses. So it balances out. But here's the warning. I said I would, at the beginning of this video, I would end it with a warning. If you are a landlord and UBI comes out in your area and you do not increase rents, you try to be that decent human being. And I don't want to raise the rents and lose a good tenant. You're going to lose a good asset instead. Because the money has to come from somewhere and your expenses are going to go up. And you might not recognize it right away. And then your state or your local place could have rent control. So if you fall far enough behind, the inevitable outcome is you either become a slumlord because you don't have the funds to take care of your properties, or you lose your properties to someone like me who uses the binder strategy that you can find at diontalk.com, a free course, no charge. This one actually came from free because I put in the time, energy, and effort and the 10 grand to put the course together to get your tenants to ask you to raise the rent. I hope to see you on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific and answer all of your questions. Let me know in the comments below. Universal basic income. I'm not looking for or against. I'm looking for, how do you think it's going to impact you, the landlord, the investor, the tenant? Have a day full of marvelous.